SAVEPOINT, it's me Lulu. Today I'm going to go over my notes to make the perfect YouTube video. Like all the accumulation of advice that I collected over the time I tried to do YouTube, advice that I am actually obviously not using. So let us start. Let's start with the video side. Now I categorize them by level, the advice from level 1 to 3, with 1 being the most important. So let's start. How do you make the perfect YouTube video according to all the advice I categorized? And I hope that I can accurately translate what everything means, because I just used keywords. Alright. Cuts. To make a good video, you can use jump cuts. If you do fast cuts, if you constantly cut footage very fast, that brings excitement. It increases the rhythm. Slow cuts are good for more laid back, calm videos, I think. Now you can use match cuts. Match cuts are a transitional kind of cut from a scene to the other. But for example, if I am in this pose when I exit this scene and I start the next scene in the exact same pose, it's going to create a nice transitional effect. Do you catch my meaning? Kind of like a jump cut, but the character is in the same position. G-cuts. G-cuts are good. When you do a jump cut, you can use G-cuts, which are, you make the video appear a bit after the audio. First the audio appears and a few milliseconds later the footage appears on the screen. This allows you to make the cut flow more smoothly. Alternatively, there's the L-cut, which is, as you might have guessed, the opposite, where the footage appears first, then the audio, the L-cut. No. Contrast editing. Contrast editing is like when you have some clips that have a lot going on in them. Lots of fancy editing, text and all this. And on the other side you have some edits that are more subdued, some more raw footage, less going on. Kind of like a layered cake, you've got delicious chocolate layers and the white chocolate layers, which might have a lot more decoration upon them. When you make a good video, you need to make it an easy watch for the viewer. That means you have to keep the speech simple. You have to make it understandable for a large population of people. There's something that's called the Jurassic Park theory, which is because you can doesn't mean you should. That means you should probably keep your edits as simple as possible, and bigger is the last resort. You can do a very fancy edit, but that might cost you a lot of time for results that would not be that apparent compared to a more simple edit. Now you start a video with a hook. It can be like a cold open where you jump directly in the action. It's kind of like in a movie when the movie starts and there's already someone running away from gunshots and all this, and you don't know what's going on. You're thrown in the action. You can have a concept summary of what the video is going to be, like a short, a sentence. Here today, that's what Mr. Beast is doing actually. Today we are going to throw this candidate in a shark pool and with a bag of blood attached to them that's leaking, and if they survive, they get to claim back their house or something. It's been sometimes it's also these notes. I see time to action and time to value. I think that must mean how long it is before you bring some value to the viewer that's going to make them stay. When is the action starting? Which the two might actually be related. first 30 seconds of your video are, I wrote it here, the trailer. I think that's pretty self-explanatory, the trailer of the video. That's what the viewers are going to see. Most of them before they leave. If they like it, then they might stay a bit further. Ah, yes. Viewers search for the first reason to leave. You have to make them forget that the video even started. Yes, God, I have a hair in my eye. What the fuck? Alright. So you have to make them forget that the video even started, because we all know, and we all do it, that we start watching something and we quit directly. That's a bit how everyone does it on YouTube. So people that make videos have to really optimize their content, otherwise the people are going to leave very easily. Let's see, I see here the first 7 seconds you have to confirm the click. You have to give the reason why the people clicked the video, I think. The next 20 seconds, you establish the video, you make it personal, maybe expand on the first 7 seconds, and the next 30 seconds you establish a new hook. That's awfully complicated, isn't it? Oh yes, I'm sure every YouTube professional knows how to do these things. I certainly don't do it, but what the fuck am I going to do with this? That's going to burn me out. But yeah, create a new hook. If you give to the people why they care, something that they clicked on in the first place to see, and immediately impose a new problem, and you're searching for a new solution, that might make people watch longer, of course. Ah yes, that flows right into this. Continuously reintroduce new hooks. Problem, solution, repeat. I see, so good luck with that, continuously introducing new problems and walk towards the solution. It's an ever ongoing loop. Let's see, so after you start with the hook and all that, there's 2 plus 2. Now what are 2 plus 2? The audience likes to figure things out themselves. That's why we say show, don't tell. Give clues for the audience to figure stuff out. Oh yeah, show, don't tell. Now an important part of video making is to murder your darlings. That is, you have to respect the viewer's time, you have to preserve the rhythm, and the clips you use have to have a point. If you cut between 2 points and it still makes sense, then you should probably cut it. Yes, murder your darlings is very, very important. You cut repetitions, you cut stuff that's not important, to really condense the video, preserve the rhythm. Now we go to level 2, of course, of this. The pop in the pool technique. That's when you give some exposition with an element of fun. There was this actress that talked about politics in a bubble bath, for example. Or the Pope that's going to preach to you while being in a jacuzzi. You get the idea. Make it funny. That is why the YouTubers are going to do advertisements, but make them funny, because that's going to keep people hooked. They're going to keep watching, even though advertisements are boring, sponsorships are boring. But some YouTubers find a way to make it engaging, and that's what people are going to enjoy. And they say, oh, I would watch every advertisement if it was just like this one. Let's see. Scenes flow into each other. Introduce elements, play a role later. Who, what is the scene about? Yes, every scene, every clip has to have a point. It's a continuous flowing river. That's pretty self-explanatory. Things have to connect in some way. Problems have to be solved. And you have to know who is that scene about, of course. Or what. It could be your toaster. Or your grandmother. Or both, if your toaster is a grandmother. But surprising the viewer is key. Now that's pretty good, right? You have to surprise, defy the expectation. That's pretty nice. Oh. Short, medium, long sentences mixed for musicality. People enjoy a mix of sentences that's short, long, medium, as I just read. That makes sense, right? People like to have some ear candy. I wonder if I'm doing that. Maybe. I mean, I guess sometimes I am doing this. Let's proceed. Use text. Well, you use text to emphasize words. And the text can have movement, can follow the person talking. People find it very cool when text follows elements of the footage. And this have to emphasize things. Oh, dancing movements. If you move in a dance-like manner, something I'm doing a bit naturally, like I always move my hands like I'm on the dance floor, you know what I mean? And 90% communication is non-verbal. Yes, you communicate with the body very much. People are going to see what you're saying or doing. Don't hide the vital organs. I'm not hiding my heart. You have to smile a lot. Too bad for you, depressed people. You have to give it your best performance. But yeah, you don't hide your organs, and you smile a lot, of course. For a good video, there needs to be some emotion, a story, and rhythm. Yes, you have to really impact through feelings and memories. You bring the viewer to the chosen emotion at the end, and you improve your edit until it does. Of course, you have to, for the story, of course, the story of your video, you find the idea, and you creatively build a narrative around it. It's a lot, you see, like, then I just started, that's a lot of notes. Experiment, do not get stale. Now, you're not gonna get stale, of course not. Always bring something you always try to improve. I guess I'm trying in a way to do that, but I'm not going to put too much effort either. I don't want to burn out. Okay. A good story, if you put a story in your video, has to have a want, a need, and a flow. So someone wants something, but really they need something. What is it that they need? What's the flow of the character? People like flows, makes characters relatable. There needs to be some spectacle in there. Like, what's the want? And how far would the character go to get what they want? And what happens if they do not get what they want? Yes, that's narrative storytelling. Characters are what makes the media timeless. Of course, people love characters. They are the mascots, right? Oh, choices are effective present choices to the character. Well, that's going to make people, oh my god, what is the character going to choose? Needs to be flows and vulnerabilities, of course. I said that before. Oh, the rule of 3. You introduce a pattern, you repeat it, and there's a payoff. Yes, so there's a Pikachu in a fancy vest, and a Pikachu with a top hat at the end, and a monocle. That's the kind of thing I'm talking about. Turn your mistakes into strength. If there's a mistake in your video, just, it's a special feature, that's the wall of your house is fucked up, that we did during construction. No, forget it. It's not fucked up. It's a special architectural design. Why don't we charge you 5,000 euros more? That's a bit of that. There needs to be a consistent tone in the video, which means, you're not going to put like cartoon graphics over a very serious murder mystery, right? Unless, of course, it's all cartoon shaped. but you know what I mean, that's to be consistent. Have an effective framework for efficiency, yes. You work on having a framework, you know, how you can piece things together. That's going to save tons of times and headaches. That's what I'm doing. I wrote my workflow to edit the videos and all this. That allows me to just go through the checklist and not have a big headache figuring out if I did something or not. Okay, so now we are going to level 3, apparently level 3 of the video side. That is be the zooms. When you zoom, you maintain the eye line, of course. The eye line has to stay in the same position, because you always look at the eyes, right? Zooming helps to emphasize the points. That's why when you watch YouTubers, it constantly zooms, jumps forwards during cuts, you know, to emphasize points, and it creates movement. People love movements, of course. So if you're a content creator, you have to have a diversity of shows, because it creates more opportunities to grow the audience. Yeah, but you have to stay in the niche, of course. You're not going to suddenly be like, oh, I'm a gamer and I want to diversify my shows. I'm going to take on knitting now. That's not going to work. Your audience is not the same. But I'm making gaming videos, and then I decide to make a gaming live stream. That's a diversity, and it stays in the niche. Let's say for smooth storytelling, use therefore, but no and. So yes, it has to continue to flow, right? Something happened, therefore it happened, but something. A is therefore B, A but B. Yeah, no, it's like not A and B. That's kind of like, you know, that's not the plot. There needs to be it needs to flow into each other. Reasons for things happening. What kind of comments are you aiming for? It's like you can imagine what kind of comments would you like to receive actually while you make the video. You can think about that. What's the driving emotion of the video, or can you end on it? I think I already wrote this. Who is this for? What are they like? What do they respond positively to? Build a biography. Yes, you can build what is called an avatar, which is an imaginary person, your ideal viewer, and make videos for that viewer, you know. And to have a target demographic that you can use to really pinpoint what the content is for and what you should make. What is this scene about? I wrote this. Impact of memory, videos leave memories. The viewers changed. Yes, that's what we said. Your video has to impact the viewer in some way, leave some emotions, some memories. Have the viewer stay watching as long as possible, or make the viewer come back often. Yes, always leave the viewer wanting more, of course. A video is a two-way conversation. You can ask questions, you know, you can be relatable, and you can make viewers talk to themselves during the video, you know. Just so they can like relate to you. Whoa, you create a relationship. Don't make it parasocial though. Finish the boring parts first. When you edit, cut stuff. Maybe cut stuff first, right? Create a rough cut. Leave the fancy effects for the end, because you really want the foundation to be good. Work in layers. I have a whole cinematography kind of like angle here. Okay, cinematography. Okay, the camera angles you can use. You can get multiple perspectives and understand the story better if you use different camera angles. It's easier to convey certain emotions with some angles, and it's also easier to edit. Okay, so what do we have? We have some wide shots first. View of location, like wow, very expensive. Helps locate the character and where the scene takes place. Oh, exactly, like a large wide shot, right? That's pretty self-explanatory. emotion-wise, it conveys some loneliness, insignificance, and the character removed from the action, because yes, everything is so wide, you know, you can see so much. Character seems very little in compare. No, you still have the long shot. It also conveys the location a bit wide, but it's a bit narrower. It focuses on the character. You see a full body in the picture, but you view from some distance, but it's a bit more focused on the character. You close in a tiny bit. Then we got the medium shot, which is waist up. You focus on subject, and on the subject is action. The dialogue, the words, the viewer is closer to the subject. So from the waist up, that's a bit like what this is. This is a medium shot right there. There's the mid thigh up when you start at the thigh, you know, and go up. Well, that's kind of a medium shot, but there's an emphasis on the waist. If you have a revolver there, you're a cowboy. You do want to see the waist, I think. That's the cowboy shot. Yes, actually, that's called the cowboy shot. We have the tight close up. That's from the head and the shoulders, like from here approximately. Oh, that is great for the important dialogues or detailed expression of face of the subject. Then we have even closer, the extreme close-up. Oh, you focus on something, on a detail to create mystery and draw the viewer's attention. Really close. If you can zoom on my nose or my teeth, if I had something stuck in them, that's an extreme close-up. You can have the camera low looking up. Oh, it makes the subject bigger and portrays power and dominance. It can portray wonder and amazement if the surroundings are even bigger than the subject. If there's someone looking up to the city, which looks immense around them, that's in awe, right? There's the high from up to down. That is, it portrays the subject as weak and inferior, vulnerable, yes. Someone looking down at you, yes, that's very, very scary. The Dutch angle, when you tilt the horizontal image, right, you tilt it portrays that something isn't right. That's used a lot in horror and Resident Evil, the first one, I think. You can portray over the shoulder, like someone looking over your shoulder. That's like, two subjects and the camera goes over the shoulder of one. It makes you feel like you're the one being talked to. Of course, you enter the dialogue between two people. There's the point of view where you portray the perspective of the subject and what their state of mind is. Probably you can hear their thoughts, probably see their hands, see through their eyes. There's the cutaway shot, which during a scene you change the shot type to help transition to the next, or as things happening at the same time as the action of the A, you can show side stories happening at the same time. Like, what if there's someone talking to someone that's A, and it cuts intermittently to a different shot of someone preparing to put a robbery outfit on. Just the people talking in A, and you see people going to start robbing a bank, preparing to rob a bank in B, where the people are talking. That's kind of a cutaway shot. I'm sure you understand what I mean. Let's see. Yes. Before adding more angles, does it add or distract from the emotion of the story told? Don't overdo it. Keep it simple. There's the 180 degrees rule. There's an invisible line across the screen, and the camera shouldn't cross it when changing angles to help, I'd look at the subject in space, right? So you're never going to go like a full 180 around a room. If there's a room, you're always going to stay on one side of the room, right? To help not make it confusing. The 30-degree rule And when filming a subject, the different angles have to be at least 30 degrees apart. Now that's pretty self-explanatory. You shoot a shot in front of me, if I was going to cut away to another one, I would be like this, right? Do you understand? 5-shot rule. What is this? 5-shot rules. Cover 5 angles for important action. Well, that's pretty self-explanatory too. Something important is going on. The scene has to have at least 5 shots from different perspectives. During intense scenes, avoid blinking, because blinking means safety. I don't fucking know who's going to use this actually, like while recording a silly YouTube video. Maybe if they're recording something scary. Okay, now we go to the science of humor. Let's see how we can learn to have a good laugh. Let's see. 30% chance, 30 times the chance of laughing in social setting. Apparently women laugh more than men, unless men listen to women. Let's see, the talker tends to laugh 50% more than the listener. 90% of laughter happens outside jokes. Who's going to use this actually in a YouTube video? Like, that's just learning the background of science, of like learning what makes people laugh. Incongruity, when expectations are betrayed, that creates humor. And apparently there are different theories of laughter. The theory of superiority. You could laugh at your past self and misfortune of others out of a sense of superiority. That was a theory, but nowadays there's a better theory, which is the benign violation of accepted rule or moral. So that means that something is funny when it's like non-threatening, inoffensive, when it betrays social expectations or ethical expectations or physical expectations, but it has to be inoffensive. There needs to be no consequences at the end. No one gets hurt. You know, there's a relief of tension. That is what provides humor. Oh God, what's all those fucking things I put on there? That is so much. What the fuck? When you go, yeah, I went to cameras, like, I went in like depth about what cameras do. Oh my God. I'll come back to the cameras at the end. I feel like this is... I'll go back to that afterwards. Oh my God. Yeah, I have editing tips too. Let's go to the audio side. You know, the audio side for once. I'll go to the camera later. So for the first level of the audio, it has to match the video tone, right? Before you apply music, you have to do the cut first, and you feel the vibe of the video. Then you use these vibes to choose the appropriate music. You're not going to put a clown music, a circus music over a funeral, you know. There needs to be sound effects, or you can use sound effects on B-rolls, or when text appears, or during transitions. Build a varied library of sounds. Sounds don't have to come from the items themselves. When you shoot a gun, you can use a camera click instead, for example. Or vice versa, you take a picture but it sounds like you shot a bullet. I went on what an equalizer is. I'll come to this afterwards. Yes. Level 2. Leitmotif. A leitmotif is like, a reoccurring jingle, something that is characteristic of a certain character or action. When you open a chest in The Legend of Zelda, there's this characteristic sound like that's a leitmotif. Music has to swell to the climax, of course. Swell to the climax. There's a climax, music will progressively get louder, and if there's a silence preceding that, that's even better. This will elevate the following music if there's silence beforehand. And you can, if you're looking for comedy, you can switch what music is playing during different point of views. If you have two characters and you see through the eyes of one and the other, the music is going to change. You know, there can be a very sad music or a very happy music on for the other character. That creates comedy in a way that betrays the expectation. That's the same as the sense of humor, you know. Oh, thumbnail and title. Oh, that's important. That's basically 50% of what makes a video attractive to people. Okay, level 1. 3 colors maximum on your thumbnail. The rule of 60, 30 and 10, which is 60% of it needs to be the main color, 30% needs to be a neutral color like black, brown, white, 10% is an accent color, something that pops above the main color, you know, like a bright pink, for example. You have to invoke a feeling of desire, of curiosity, of fear with your thumbnail, also with your title. The title works in tandem with the thumbnail to create intrigue. Of course, it's the whole package. People are going to see the thumbnail first and will want to know what the fuck this is about, right? So they will read the title and then they will click. You have to make the viewer ask themselves a question, create some intrigue. There's what we call a curiosity cap. There's different sorts of curiosity caps that you can use, like a story, you know, it can be a point of tension or a question that introduces the first act of the story. A transformation, getting to know the story and how the person went from A to B, like how I was before and how I was after so and so workout, you know, I look very buff. It can be a novelty for curiosity gap, the urge to experience something never seen before. A result, how did they do it? Can I also do it? You know, can I get rich? You know, can I get famous on YouTube? And a moment, catching a glimpse right before a powerful reaction. Yes, if you do a thumbnail of someone that looks like they are just going to be hit by a train, people are going to be, oh fuck, I need to click this and need to know what's going on. A scroll stopper, when people scroll, you can implement some scroll stoppers. Use some bright colors, faces. There's a familiarity basis. Familiar characters or faces are effective to stop people from scrolling. Celebrities, famous YouTubers, Mario, that kind of thing. People love large numbers that will make them stop scrolling. Dangerous, also dangerous, like don't do this. People love to use that. Emotions, you know, show emotions in the thumbnail. That's also going to like stop the human eye. Eye pleasing, something that's eye pleasing, nice to see. I wonder if any of my thumbnails kind of walk in that category. I didn't really think too much about curiosity caps. You can use some power words in your thumbnails or titles. It empowers the title without changing its meaning, like some emotional power words, authoritative, emergency, exclusivity. I'm sure there's plenty of power words you can think about, like, oh, most impressive, extreme donkey, it's the fattest marshmallow, you know, like successful formats. When you find a successful format, always replicate it. Like the front of the title should be loaded all to the front, because the end gets cut off. Show the important stuff first. Oh, there's the color theory, of course. There's the color harmonies. It's the first thing you should think about. You know, monochromatic. If it can be analogous, which are 3 colors next to each other on the color wheel. Split complementary. The variation of complementary, it's like one's base color, and on the color wheel it's the 2 adjacent colors of the one directly opposite, the main one you want to use on that color wheel. The monochromatic one is like one hue and different shades. You know, color theory is really important for thumbnails. Neutral colors, that's what I was talking about, you know, black, white, gray, brown. it's a visual relief from the main primary color. There's a stronger emphasis to the primary one. It's negative space, but for colors. Less color is more, of course. Use as least the less colors you can, the better. There needs to be a great contrast in your thumbnail. If it looks good in grayscale, then it will look good in color. If it's all confusing in grayscale, it's gonna be shit. If your picture has bad contrast, yeah, the colors won't help. High contrast is better, especially for text. Aim for balance. It's like music. Have a variation of values, hues and saturation, but let one or two colors take the lead. I wonder if that's not a bit contradictory to like use less color, just use less color. Yeah, the 60-30-10 rules, yeah, that's what did I write this twice? Oh, I wrote this twice, I'm very silly. Be consistent through your work, yes. Your YouTube channel should have a recognizable color scheme. Level 2. The titles should be short. An elaboration of thumbnail, like we said, it should be made for humans. Make it clickable for humans. It needs to be obvious to see what is going on in your picture and in the content of it. It needs to be the main character, which is the single element that best contributes to the curiosity gap. And like someone, standing and like a person on the thumbnail, and there's some supporting characters which help illustrate the main character. They can be a chair in the background of the thumbnail, but the person should be the focus. Now the composition, when you create a thumbnail, the layout, you can have it symmetrical, or you can have it asymmetrical, and there's the rule of thirds, like there's the middle, the 2/3 or 1/3, that's the rule of thirds. I tend to use the rule of, to do it asymmetrically. That's how I tend to do it, because I take a screenshot of what's going on in my video. I don't make the super elaborate thumbnail, and I do it asymmetrical in the first place. Composition, a hierarchy. Yes, the main character needs to be more in front than the supporting ones. You can blur or scale, use blur or scale, or other, composition techniques to give an emphasis to the main character. And text should only be used if it adds to the story. Use simple language. Don't repeat what's in the title. It needs to be short titles, maybe a single word even, like SAVEPOINT. Yes, contrast, there's different ways to use contrast, like different colors, different levels of luminosity, saturation, or hue, like complementary colors, which fits right into the colors one. It should be easy to process. Thumbnail, easy to see what's going on. Level 3. Change the title or thumbnail if it underperforms after a while. If there's no results, maybe switch the whole fucking thing. Be different than the other thumbnails. You see Mr. Beast thumbnails, don't do that same shit. Don't do it. That's just going to be annoying. Does the thumbnail look good and readable in suggested? If you have to make it look good at its smallest size, which is what people are going to see probably in the search suggested tabs. People often look much more what is suggested than searched. So yeah, that's pretty much all my notes. I have more stuff. I have more stuff, like I can go into the camera. When you set up your camera, there's the ISO, which artificially brightens or darkens the image. Too high produces noise, so keep the ISO as low as possible. It's the exposure. Try to keep it below 1000, otherwise there's noise introduced. The shutter speed. It's how fast the eyelid of the content opens and closes. The longer it is open, the brighter the picture is, and darker the less time it is open. It's the same for videos actually. And the faster it is actually, the less motion blur there will be, but it will be darker, of course. For the most natural look, that's important, aim for twice the amount of your frame rate. If you use green screens, you don't want a lot of motion blur because that's going to make the green screen look poo. So keep it around 1/80th of a second or 1/100th of a second. The aperture is the eyeball of the camera. It opens up or closes to let more or less light inside. Check how tight it opens. Changes the exposure and the depth of field. If it's relatively closed, things are going to look blurry in the background, but your main character will be in focus. You know, the people use that a lot. The white balance, you can, of course, white balance is important. Tells the camera what pure white is. If it's off balance, the colors won't be accurate. Figure out you can use to figure out the Kelvin of the lighting you're using and set it to this. For example, the lighting I'm using, I set my camera to the Kelvin of it, so I hope the colors are accurate in a way, but that doesn't fucking matter because I make everything look like orange anyways. You can use a grey card otherwise to match it on a scene by scene basis. The frame rate. The industry standard it's 24 FPS, but you can use 60 FPS for slow motions or YouTube. I use 60 FPS, every fucking one uses 60 FPS on YouTube. I think most everyone. When you color grade, color correction comes before and cleans the image so it's ready to be worked on. If you have lots of different shots and scenes, you have to make things fit well. Right? So like everything doesn't look blue, yellow, everything. Things have to fit correctly in the same kind of spectrum. So when you do color grade afterwards, you can have better, more consistent results. It matches the scenes together coherently. Yeah, well, like when you have a green screen spill, of course, probably need to work on that as well. Color grading gives the video the intended feel. You know, lighting with colors works too. You can use light with colors, but you can also color afterwards, I think. Yes, like what I'm doing right now, I color grade to make everything look quite good. Like I'm being bombarded by a fireplace, in a dark room. That's what I'm doing. That's color grading, baby. Oh fuck, I have a whole editing tips, but I'm not going to do that, I don't have time. You know what? These were a few of them. That was most of my advice, actually, YouTube advice. I've just throw it in your face. Wow, that's a lot of shit. Like, can you see like all these shades all over the place? Like that. I read fucking everything. This is insane. And I still didn't get to everything because I have editing tips, but I will be honest, I have not been using all these because, let's face it, you can produce the best video you can and all this, but that requires a lot of time and resources and repeats and making sure stuff is perfect, and I don't want to bother. I already burnt out from trying a sliver of all that. So I did retain some knowledge in my head, and I'm just using what feels natural to me in these videos. Of course, I'm doing this, and I hope it's still of a certain quality. You know, I've been trying to mind map in my head what everything is or looks like, all this knowledge, and I did retain some of it. And parts of why I did this video was to kind of like refresh myself on the knowledge, which took me apparently 45 minutes, much more than expected, but again, I'm talking physically. Wow, that was something. Well, I hope this was somewhat useful to you. Your progress has been saved. I'll see you at the next save point, alright? I need to rush to work now, this took much longer than I expected. Cheers.